Hello and welcome from the high banks of Daytona International Speedway. You are joined by myself, Gary Owen, in the booth alongside my partner of Jay Cook.
Hello, everyone.
Throughout this season, all the way leading until late November, we will be following along weekly with the real NASCAR Cup Series, with the 2021 Cup Series roster schedule, with all the new additions like Circuit of the Americas, hopefully Bristol Dirt as well. Not 100% sure on Bristol Dirt yet, but we will be bringing an episode every week following along with the real NASCAR season. Very excited to do this, and we're going to see how it differentiates between real life and NR2003. So tonight we have the Busch Clash coming at you guys here at the Daytona road course. 23 laps. We're not doing the same length as real life, but we're going to do about half to just under half for some of these races, and then a few off ones where we will do 100% races. But coming through here into Daytona, fresh off the 2020 NASCAR Cup Series championship season, Chase Elliott was able to actually pick up the championship last season. So Jay, any thoughts of what to expect coming into tonight with Elliott actually starting up there in P2?
Uh, First thing that comes to mind is Chase Elliott immediately is one to watch. He's the road course king. He's won the 4 straight road course races, and he's starting second. So if I had to guess, it probably won't take long to see him move past Truex and take over first.
There you see the overhead shot of Elliott. Definitely always the favorite here when it comes to any road course races. He's won the last 4 road course races in the NASCAR Cup Series, including the one and only Daytona road course race so far to be run in the Cup Series. So definitely keep an eye out for second place of Chase Elliott. And for the first time this season here in 2021, the cars are rolling. And before we get going here, of course, we're going to take you through the starting order for the Busch Clash. Up front, Martin Truex Jr., who's often kind of fell short to Chase Elliott on the road courses in the past, but he outqualified Elliott for second. Blaney down here in P3 as we got Cole Custer and the 10 of Eric Almirola rounding out the top 5. And then we go down a little bit further. Almirola's teammate of Cole Custer in his second season in the Cup Series. P6, Bubba Wallace is not in that car tonight. Ty Dillon actually is in place for Bubba Wallace here for the Busch Clash, but Bubba will be in the 2311 racing car going forwards when we get to the duels. Then we got Eric Jones in the number 43 car for the first time after leaving Joe Gibbs Racing. Then we go a little bit further down to the 3 of Austin Dillon, then the 17 of Chris Buescher, 8 of Tyler Reddick on the next row. Then we go down to Kevin Harvick and Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Alex Bowman in the 48, hopping over from the 88 car. This same team, different number now, is Keselowski, Denny Hamlin, William Byron, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Matt DiBenedetto in the 21, as well as Kurt Busch round out the field. Some big names towards the back, Jay. Do you think we're going to see them work their way to the front, or are they just going to kind of stay there?
Long race on a road course that we haven't seen much of. So I think there's a possibility of either happening. Somebody like Kurt Busch may make his way up through, and somebody like Eric Jones may fall back. So it'll be interesting to see what happens for this race.
I mean, 26 laps. Last time we were here, we've seen some drivers have a bit of a tough time completing passes on certain portions of the track. Do you think, Jay, there's any just kind of part of the track that's really going to be key to completing a pass?
That the backstretch chicane is probably going to be a big place. If you can get a good enough run into that corner and outbrake somebody, that's probably going to be the best passing place on the track.
Going to be interesting to see what we can do. We come through as the field's heading towards the bus stop right now. This is one of the most important parts of the track for actually building up a run to that final chicane, which is probably going to play a very key role into how this race turns out here tonight, as we're under the lights here at the Daytona road course now as we're getting ready to take the green flag. Potentially, I think, the first ever NASCAR road course race under the lights here as we get ready to go green now as we go into Oval 3. Chase Elliott trying to defend his 2021 Cup Series championship. He would love to take the lead right off the bat. Just 26 laps, like we mentioned. Not a very long race here in the Busch Clash. And in the future here, we will actually have a race ticker, either Fox or NBC. Make sure to comment what you would like to see, but we will have that in the future, hopefully starting for the duels later this week here in just a few days time when you guys see that on the channel. But either way, here we go, getting ready to take the green flag. Jay, real quick, who do you think is going to be able to pull off the win here?
Easy answer, Chase Elliott. He's the most dominant person in NASCAR on road courses at the moment, and I honestly don't see how there's any way he loses this race considering the clinic that he put on last time we were at the Daytona road course.
And Elliott has won the last 4 road course races in the NASCAR Cup Series. And now here we go. We are underway for the 2021 Busch Clash as Martin Truex Jr. Chase Elliott lead the way down into turns 1. Looks to be a relatively calm start up front there. In the back you see Hamlin maybe going 3 wide with drivers like Alex Bowman. Elliott goes a little bit wide, but there is some 3 wide action going on here. Behind now as they all seem to be keeping it clean, but the 41 car of Cole Custer actually goes off the track now as they are going to be potentially 4 wide here into the corner. That can't end well.
It's like somebody was off in the grass back there in the in the back of the field. Couldn't tell who that was. It was a white car. It might have been Matt DiBenedetto. Looks like they all keep it clean. No, it's actually, who is that? William Byron. William Byron having some early issues in the Daytona Clash. He's all the way back to last and seeming like he can't stay away from the grass.
Unfortunate start there for the 24. Byron will get a replay as soon as we can to see what happened there. But other than that, I mean, a relatively clean start. But you see here, the 12 of Ryan Blaney has actually overtaken the 9 of Chase Elliott for that second spot. So Truex already off to a tremendous start here now in front of the field. Now as Blaney's going to try and run him down. Elliott seems to be potentially fading a little bit now as they come out of Oval 2, but not the start he was looking for. Fading in behind him, 4th place of the 10 of Eric Almirola, who's got Eric Jones, and then Chris Buescher just behind. But then we go down the order a little bit. Bubba Wallace, or Ty Dillon, sorry, in the 23, not Bubba Wallace, tonight now as Custer and Harvick try to run him down. But definitely seemed to be a pretty clean start other than what happened there with Byron, Jay.
Yeah, I noticed right towards the start of the race in the infield section, there was a bit of contact between Cole Custer and Chase Elliott, so that might be the reason why he's fallen back to 3rd place at the moment, and it seems like he may be losing even more ground. I wonder if there's some kind of issue that he, from that contact, that he is causing him to slow down, not have the pace that he would like.
It definitely seems like he's a bit off the pace now as we bring up the race order for the top 10 on your screen. So after just 1 lap, Martin Truex Jr. about not even a full second ahead of Ryan Blaney, who appears to be reeling in the number 19 of Martin Truex Jr. as they go down into what turns 3 here. But Chase Elliott definitely seems to be off the pace now as a 10 of Eric Almirola quickly closing in within about 2 car lengths or so right now. Yeah, we don't really consider Ryan Blaney to be really a road course threat here at Daytona, but here he is running down what looks like to be closing in a little bit here on the back of the 19, Jay.
You say that, but don't forget that he did win the Roval, and when he was sitting in prime position, when Jimmy Johnson and Martin Truex had that issue. So it's not like he's bad at road courses, but I do agree we don't see him as a road course ringer. But it seems like so far, him and Truex are the class of the field.
Definitely would expect to see the 9 in that position of the 12, or even in the position of the 19. But Elliott seems to be kind of sorting things out here, holding off right now. But everyone's just having a nice clean first few laps, other than that first couple corner this mishap with Cole Custer going 4 wide, William Byron going off track. But Harvick's got quite the disconnect here from Denny Hamlin up in front of them now, as it's Harvick on back, all kind of just off the pace right now compared to the front runners. Alex Bowman, Keselowski, these guys all outside of the top 10. Kyle Busch, Tyler Reddick, DiBenedetto, Kurt Busch. William Byron has actually run down Kurt Busch here. He's still at the back of the field, but Logano's even further back. Not sure what happened to him, but clearly seems to be off the pace here, at least quite disconnected from the pack, Jay.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened to him at all. I'm assuming there was either some contact or maybe he lost control under braking in a certain corner, but we'll figure that out.
Car seems to look good on the screen now, so I don't really see any damage on the 22, so we'll definitely have to see what's going on as we actually got the pace car out in front of the pack here. As we were looking at the 22, a caution has appeared to come out now, as we're going to get a replay immediately of what happened. I'm going to assume involving the 22 of Joey Logano, as a caution is out on just the 3rd lap here in Daytona. Alright, we've got the replay of the reasoning for the caution was involving Tyler Reddick and Joey Logano. It appears the 8 turns the 22 head on into the safer barrier. He goes sliding through the bust. Unfortunately, you saw the 8 go off track there again, but fortunately Logano didn't get hit by anybody. And then
I think if we can get a different angle there, Gary, it looks like to me that Logano might have turned to the right a little bit and pinched Reddick into the wall. It's almost what it looks like. He may have been trying to arc his way into the bus stop and just went a little bit too far to the right, and Reddick had nothing. There was nothing Reddick could do.
Onboard view with the 8, and yep, definitely the 22 came over there to the right there and pretty much wrecked himself. I guess he just misjudged it there. You see Reddick take evasive action, go through the go bowling sign, but he kept it clean other than that. But some contact happening around Joey Logano, bringing out the first caution of the day. Now as we're going to go in and check out the replay of the race, start to see what led to William Byron going off track and whatnot. So we got the 24 car of William Byron here on the race start. You saw a lot of contact between the 41 and the 9 of Custer, but you see the 24 just goes into the corner here, and he just drives right off the track.
Yeah, so that would be the reasoning why he still has pretty good pace. No contact, no harm, no foul, just a whole lot of grass on the tires. Needing a moment to get the grass off of there and being able to get his traction back, and he was able to catch the back of the field.
Just taking evasive action there from the 24s. We also have a replay of what happened between the 41 and the 9 of Chase Elliott moments before. So here's a roof cam view of Chase Elliott. You see him check up there in the 41. Yeah, it looks like he just kind of came across the 9. I don't even know if he was going to make it on the track without that contact, Jay.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what was happening there with Buster. I don't know if he got loose. I don't know. It looked like it just some sort of misjudgment from him, and he just went right across Elliott's bumper.
Overall, a weird situation there now as the pace car is still out on the track. We remain under yellow here in Daytona, and we're going to go for a quick break and come back at you in time for the restart. And we are back here in Daytona just in time for the restart, and kind of developing right now. We got Brad Keselowski, who appears to be all the way down on the apron, coming to the green flag. No space for him to get in. We're not sure what's going on. He actually went through the grass as well in the bus stop, but appears to just maybe almost look like he might be coming into the pit lane. We're going to have to keep an eye on what in the world's going on there with the two of Keselowski. We haven't heard of any reports of anything wrong, but I mean, clearly not in position for the restart. Now as we get ready to take the green flag here, Martin Truex Jr., Ryan Blaney, Eric Almirola. Now is Keselowski. I think I just saw him maybe go off there as we are back underway in Daytona. Martin Truex Jr. leads the field back to the green flag now as Blaney looks to be right on the back one, but I do not see Keselowski anywhere in the frame. It does appear that he is coming to the pit lane there, but we didn't hear anything about what was wrong there now. And as it behind, we got now the 17 of Buescher and the 43 of Jones side by side. Elliott actually lost a little bit of ground there now, as we're going to see that lane on the left here always seems to slow up in that same corner now as Hamlin is able to overtake Chase Elliott. And Denny Hamlin was a driver that we saw have a bit of a rough qualifying effort now, Jay, and here he is starting to work his way forward. He's passing the 9, the defending champion of Chase Elliott.
I'm quite surprised what I'm seeing so far from Chase Elliott. I'm going to assume that maybe that contact with Custer is a little bit harder than it seemed in the replay, and maybe there's some kind of aero issue, or I don't know. It's weird. It's not like Chase Elliott to be falling back on a road course, especially falling this far back to where he's, I believe, outside the top 10 right now, or almost outside the top 10.
8th place. He restarted 5th down to 8th place after that restart, so clearly something going on there now as he seems to have a comfortable gap over the 23 of Bubba Wallace as we go through the rest of the field. Kurt Busch making a pass there on the 47 to Stanos Logano at the back, but there you see Keselowski, who's still on the course but just way off, so we don't really know what was going on with his car there, but either way he is still in the race but clearly off the pace, and without a caution his race is pretty much already over now with still over 20 laps to go here in the Busch Clash. Now as you also see, we got the 48 on the pit lane here. Not sure what's going on there for Alex Bowman, but he appears to maybe be done for the race, Jay.
It seems to be some kind of issue for Bowman, obviously. I mean, he wouldn't be on pit road if it wasn't, and he's not leaving the box, so I can only assume that the team is trying to fix something. It also looks like Logano now coming into the pits as well, so several drivers having issues here early in the clash.
But Logano exiting his pit stop, I think he was just making a pit stop. Now, that was very quick, though. Were they just filling the car up potentially now? As there's Keselowski, so Logano just did a whole pit stop and is still going to come out here alongside Brad Keselowski as the field has gone by. Martin Truex Jr. nearly a second ahead now, but really just a weird situation overall with what's happening. And as well, after seeing all that happen, the 10 of Eric Almirola has actually moved up to second place, passing Ryan Blaney here. So now Blaney drops down into the 3rd position. Elliott still down here in P8 right now as he's trying to put some pressure on the back of Erik Jones, but we did see, like I said, the 10 of Aric Almirola move up into that 2nd position now, as we can get a quick look at that pass from the 10 of Aric Almirola on Ryan Blaney. So here you see the 10 of Aric Almirola look up the inside there into turn 1 up the inside of Ryan Blaney. And I thought Blaney was going to have more than this, but no, Aric Almirola seems to have a decent chunk of speed here today now. It seems like a bunch of the drivers on the right side of the course, right there where Blaney backs out, they all seem to have a trend of doing that right there, Jay. I don't know if it's just because they're too scared to wreck their cars or what's going on there, but everyone that's been on that side where Blaney was has really been at a disadvantage.
Yep, everyone. It seems like the racing line is definitely the left side of the track. The only thing I can think of is maybe there's some rubber pellet, the bits of rubber off the tires, or just absolutely no grip on that side of the track. But anyone who goes there seems to have to just hit the brakes and creep their way through that part of the racetrack.
And it also appears now the 17 has also made a pass on Ryan Blaney. So Blaney continues to fall down the order all of a sudden, and it appears that Kevin Harvick might also be running him down. But Martin Truex Jr. opening up the gap right now is Chase Elliott, now almost 5.5 seconds behind the leader as he qualified 2nd. We thought he had the pace, and after that first lap contact, he definitely does not appear to have as good of a car as we thought. Now, as Buescher might be looking to make a move here on the back of the 10 of Almirola, he's going to be right on him here through oval 1 and 2. I think he's going to easily be able to make a move. There he goes up the inside. Jay, do you think he's going to complete this pass here?
Oh, he has definitely got this pass done. If he doesn't get it done here on the straightaway, he's going to outbreak Almirola. He's going to soar past him, and he's going to look to hunt down Martin Truex and take the lead of this race.
Oh, some contact there.
Yeah, some contact.
The 10 into the outside wall. They keep it going, but oh my goodness, some contact. We saw some contact between the 8 and the 22 earlier, where the 22 went around bringing out the caution. Fortunately, did not result in that same incident there, but it looked like the same situation there before, didn't it, Jay, where the 17 that time kind of came over and crowded the 10 into the wall.
Almost the exact same thing. It looked like Chris Buescher went to arc the corner and didn't realize that the 10 was still there, and it almost had the exact same result. But luckily for Buescher and Almirola, no harm, no foul, maybe a tiny bit of damage, but they can still both keep going and try and hunt down Martin Truex.
In 1.4 seconds it was last time around, now up to 1.9 seconds between Martin Truex Jr. and 2nd place, which now belongs within just 1 lap. It went from Ryan Blaney P2 down to P4 with Chris Buescher now up into 2nd, and I think I can see just a little bit of right rear quarter panel damage maybe on the back of that 17, which of course would not be surprising with that contact there with the 10. Now as Martin Truex Jr. looks to just drive away now, as you see the 22 of Joey Logano at the very back made that kind of unexpected pit stop. He's still trying to run down his Penske Racing teammate of Brad Keselowski, but so far the Penske cars run in the last 2 positions here tonight in the Busch Clash, so not what they were looking for. And towards the back of the pack still the 8 of Tyler Reddick, who was involved in that first caution with Joey Logano, finds himself in 3rd to last place right now, trying to run down Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who returns to JTG Doherty this season, as well as just up ahead Austin Dillon. William Byron actually just kind of back here with the 48 of Alex Bowman, who's actually back on track now, Jay, as we saw him earlier in the pit box for a very substantial amount of time.
Yeah, since the car had not been taken to the garage, I suspected that the team were trying to work on and repair something underneath that car. As far as what it is, I have no idea, but it seems like he's able to get out and get back running. But unfortunately for Bowman, he is at least 1 lap down, and it seems like unless there is a caution, his race is unfortunately over.
Very weird there, maybe a mechanical issue or something. As you see Kyle Busch actually out of oval 4, right on the back of the 23, fresh off of a very poor season for Kyle Busch, at least in his standards. Only 1 win at Texas Motor Speedway, was eliminated very early in the playoffs after the Charlotte Roval now, as it appears the 21 nearly drove into the back of the 1 car there. De Benedetto got close to running into the back of Kurt Busch, but Kyle not really able to do a whole lot with Bubba Wallace, as we have Chase Elliott trying to actually regain a position here on the outside of the 43, but as history shows, that move on the right side hasn't worked, and my guess right here is once again it is not going to work, and sure enough the 9 pulls out now, but it seems like maybe there's a little bit more fight in the 9 car, but definitely not what he had before. And as I should mention as well, on that previous lap, Chris Buescher was able to close the gap by maybe about a 10th or so, so Jay, it looks like the 17 might very slim chance to have something here for the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. before it's over.
which ultimately is surprising. Nobody considers Chris Buescher to be a road course ringer. Nobody considers Chris Buescher to be in winning equipment. But here he is being a slight bit faster than Truex. But that doesn't mean that Truex is running his full-out pace either. So we'll have to see as this race goes on. If Truex keeps his pace up, or if he gets faster, he gets slower, it'll be interesting to watch.
Just below a 2-second gap at the start of lap 9 between the top two as Martin Truex Jr. continues to run away with the lead. We're going to go for a quick break, and we will be back in just a few moments here from the Busch Clash at Daytona International Speedway. And we are back here from Daytona International Speedway now here on towards the end of lap 9. Ryan Blaney actually trying to hold off the 11 car of Denny Hamlin right now as we come through out of oval turns 4. There's a little bit of pressure there from the 11 now. Is actually we got the 10 and the 4 side by side up there in the distance. There's actually contact. We got a bit of an incident here. Two of them go around and everybody's piling in there on the right hand side.
Cars wrecking even behind them. This is a big pile up in Daytona.
What in the world just happened? There's a 4 gets going.
They may be able to all keep going here as there's even more contact.
23 around.
Still running into each other.
The 10's going in the grass. He's going into the pit lane. The 3 goes sliding through. What in the world?
Did the 3 even take the bus?
I don't even think he tried. Now oh my goodness, Martin Truex Jr. still out in front. Buescher second, by the way, but what in the world just happened here is the 10, he's coming into the pit box, and surprisingly, after
the pace car has not left pit
no
road.
Caution, no.
There is no caution for
Joey
this.
Logano had a 1-car spin on the bus stop and a caution came out. We have no caution on the track here from Daytona International Speedway. So Martin Truex Jr. still out front leading the way now over Chris Buescher as the green flag, like I said, remains, and everybody here, Kevin Harvick had heavy contact with his teammate of Eric Almirola. We'll get the replays of what happened here in just a moment there. As you see, he's well off the pace there, Jay. I mean, look at all the damage on that car. He is probably done for.
Yeah, it is quite surprising to me that NASCAR did not call the caution there. These teams are going to have to figure out what they want to do with their car under green, losing laps, losing time. And it's also just it's a safety thing. People hit the safer barriers, they hit the curbs. The curbs could be up. I'm quite surprised at NASCAR here not calling the caution, but if they don't feel the need to call it, then I guess it's safe to keep racing.
Very baffling decision there by NASCAR. You see heavy damage on the back of the 23 of Ty Dillon. Even the 21 of DeBenedetto got a piece of it now. As we're going to go in, we've got some replays here. As the green flag stays out, we're going to check out what in the world just happened between the two Stewart-Haas Racing teammates. So you see out of oval turns 4, Kevin Harvick actually makes a move up the left-hand side there into that final chicane, and then it just all went wrong. They came together right there, and they just both go crashing into the wall, and then it appears on the left-hand side, all those cars just completely missed the chicane and hopped the curb there, Jay.
Yeah, it looks like the 18, the 23, the 21, and maybe the 1 car all completely hopped the curb, lost control of the car, and just came together in a big calamity of cars, as somehow everyone is able to keep the car driving and the race stays green.
View from Bubba Wallace here going into that chicane. You saw the wreck happen. He completely hops over the curb, gets stopped here. He's got a bunch of cars piling in behind him now. As you see right here, he's going to get hit by the 18. Then the 21 comes and finishes him off. So DeBenedetto at least some front end damage, but not the view or the race that 23 team was looking for. As we continue to get the name wrong on that 23, we are well aware of that now. As Bubba Wallace not in the car, it is Ty Dillon here tonight now. As we are just going to see what in the world's going on up front at this point. As Martin Truex Jr. he was leading at the time this all happened, and we're going to check back live right now to see what in the world is going on. So we come through now to the live shot. Martin Truex Jr. still out in front. Pretty much most of the field was involved in that incident there. Now the 17's actually coming into the pit lane right here as we speak. So Chris Buescher making a green flag pit stop, surprisingly, as we now know NASCAR did not call a caution there. So the 17, this here looks to be a scheduled pit stop. But I mean, if he can only make it 11 laps, Jay, he's not going to be able to make it to the end of this race.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this is a strategy call to go ahead and short pit and maybe get some tires on the car before Truex and get himself out there and maybe overtake him through strategy, or if drivers can truly only make it 11 laps in this race and they'll have to make another pit stop.
Eric Almirola, he just came out of the pit lane after destroying his car, still was able to beat the 5-minute clock and get back out in front is Martin Truex Jr. Probably would expect to see him maybe pit closer to lap 13. I would prefer to, at least myself, make it to the halfway point, but maybe they are comfortable enough to maybe pit a lap or two early and still make it to the end. We're going to find out here real quick. Is Kevin Harvick. He's actually coming into the pit lane right now. I think it took him that long to get around the track. You see the heavy damage there on the Mobil 1 Ford Mustang of Kevin Harvick here for Stuart Haas Racing, as he's going to come through into his pit box here just behind the 21 of DeBenedetto, who appears to be leaving his pit box now. So he picked up a little bit of damage there, but he should be okay. But there you see the Ford now into his box, getting some service on that number 4 Ford Mustang. So now Truex P1 and Eric Almirola, he's not in second place. He's the next car behind. But then you got the 12 of Ryan Blaney, who is currently in the second position in a destroyed back end of that 12 car, and even the front end's got some damage. But now Chase Elliott actually finds himself in P3 after a really rough start, but all of a sudden maybe, I mean, you look at his car, a lot cleaner than a lot of the competition after that incident. He might actually be able to get a top 3 out of this.
Yeah, which is certainly a good thing for him.
A tremendous thing for him.
To escape, to escape with no damage. But it's interesting to me. It seems like so far he didn't have the better pace than even Blaney with a destroyed rear end. So I am unsure what's going on with that 9 car. I could be wrong. Maybe he did catch him from 3 seconds behind that lap. But it seemed like, at least on the NASCAR oval there, he was not much faster, if at all faster, than Blaney.
And Martin Truex Jr. on the pit lane now, along with the 12 of Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott. They're the first 3 pit boxes, but you see Eric Jones, Austin Dillon as well. But Truex now leaving his pit box, and the question is, how close is the 17 of Chris Buescher about to be here now as Truex rejoins now Logano coming by. Logano, of course, not actually in the picture for anything at this point, I don't believe. Now as we come through, actually Logano might be going for the lead here because he did not have to make a pit stop with these guys because he did make that unscheduled pit stop earlier. So this should be a potential pass for the lead here, if I'm not mistaken now, as Chris Buescher trails behind that 19 of Martin Truex Jr. here. So an absolute mess of things right now after that big incident. So many cars got crashed out and then everybody was pitting. Very unfortunate timing now as Martin Truex Jr. appears to be running up front, but I don't know if the 22 is even on the lead lap at this point.
The 22 is indeed on the lead lap. He passed Truex and is at the moment the eventual leader when everybody comes through the pit road and makes their pit stops, unless there is someone else above the order that has not pitted. But I know for a fact that he is ahead of Truex at the moment. So it is Joey Logano, Martin Truex, and Chris Buescher, your top 3.
And I would not really expect Logano to really be able to hold off these guys if that is the case. We saw him win a road course before. He actually won back in 2016, I believe it was, or 2015 at Watkins Glen. I think it was 2015 over Kevin Harvick. But you look back here, Chris Buescher is definitely going to have an opportunity here to potentially steal the win away from Martin Truex Jr. now as they come through out of oval turns for a lot of speed in that 17 car. And it really seems like that pit cycle was exactly what Buescher needed to get up into the mix against Martin Truex Jr. now as they come through out of that final chicane, coming down the front straightaway. A lot of pressure from that 17 of Chris Buescher, who's right on the back. We've seen drivers make a move to the right-hand side going into turns 1. I think is actually just going to stay behind Truex here into the corner. A bit surprising there. I was expecting a potential move there, but definitely, Jay, it appears that the 17 has the speed here to contend and maybe beat the 19 tonight.
Seems like so far that Logano has pulled away a little bit from Truex, but he was on cold tires coming out of the pit road, so that could be expected. But as you can see on the leaderboard there, 7 cars look like they have yet to pit. Joey Logano is indeed the leader over Martin Truex and Chris Buescher. It looks like William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, Cole Custer, Brad Keselowski, Ricky Stenhouse, and Ty Dillon have all yet to pit so far in this race, but we know the 11 has a little bit of damage. We know that the 23 has a good bit of damage. So those guys are probably not in contention, even if they have already made their pit stops.
Indeed, indeed. Now, as just like we said before, an absolute mess. As at the time as they came across the line last time, William Byron found himself leading this thing, as you see the current order right now with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. apparently in the 6th position as we got a bit of a battle going on here. Chase Elliott once again finds himself actually behind the 43 of Eric Jones. And then we got the 41 of Cole Custer up ahead. But then, of course, we got the 12 of Ryan Blaney with actually pretty much no back bumper at all. Just kind of hanging on here as he actually goes a little bit wide there. That was not the cleanest line I've ever seen through the bus stop. Now, as it looks like the 17 could be eyeing a potential move, the 22 coming into the pit lane right here, Jay. So this is definitely a scheduled pit stop, and I would assume he can make it to the end of the race from here.
Yeah, Logano, I'm going to guess is having to pit because of the earlier pit stop in the race. So I'm guessing that either nobody else can make it to the end, and now Logano is the first one who can, or he just pitted a little bit too early, and unfortunately for him, is still going to have to obviously pit here and lose all those spots that he gained.
Definitely a slow stop here for the 22. Jay, it appears maybe something mechanical going on with that Penske team.
I would guess it has to be something mechanical, maybe leading back to the damage earlier in the race, but certainly something mechanical and certainly race ending for Joey Logano, who unfortunately already had his race ended prematurely by the fact that he had to pit again anyways.
Adding on to this continued chaos of this Busch Clash here in Daytona. Back to the live scene here. Martin Truex Jr. actually under some pressure from the 17 of Chris Buescher as they go down into that final chicane. Nearly some contact between the two drivers, but definitely a tremendous exit there from the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. as they come through to cross the line. So just overall a really weird situation right now. Our timing actually has the 19 back out in front here in first place after the 24 and whatnot had made their pit stop. So this is the battle for the win. We're still baffled a caution didn't come out now as they're actually having to deal with this slow 10 car of Eric Almirola. And this is an opportunity right here, Jay, for maybe the 19 to open up a nice gap between himself and the 10 with, or in the 17 with the 10 in the way.
Certainly interesting to see Almirola playing as big of a factor here as he is. He needs to just pull over and get out of the way, which he seemed to do right there. So Chris Buescher not losing too much time sitting behind him, but certainly did lose some time, which I'm sure he's not happy about at all.
And with the whole incident, the 17 nearly goes off track into the grass right there, but with the whole incident that happened after the pit cycle and whatnot, first and second are on a nearly an 18-second breakaway, by the way, to Ryan Blaney. And you look at Ryan Blaney finds himself currently in third place with a car that looks terrible right now. We got Cole Custer up here. Chase Elliott's actually down now in the 9th position. We saw him earlier battling with the 43 of Eric Jones. But even the 24, it was able to beat out the 9 car. But you got Elliott, like I said, down here in P9. Reddick, 10th. Keselowski, 11th. Then 12th through 13th to 47 in the 3. Then we got the 23 down the order there with quite a bit of damage. And then the 11 of Denny Hamlin. 21 of Matt DiBenedetto, who was involved in that incident earlier, as well as we appear to have the 22 of Logano still in the pit lane, but Alex Bowman's troubles continue. We've seen him already on the pit lane earlier in this race, so clearly a rough night overall as well, Jay, for the 48.
Rough night overall for a lot of drivers in this race, but yeah, certainly not the way Bowman wanted to have his first race in the 48 go. And Logano still sitting on pit road. I'm just wondering what is wrong with that car. He's been on pit road for several laps now. And at this point, I don't know why the team just doesn't retire the car and call it a night.
I think that Martin Truex Jr. and 17 of Chris Buescher are the only 2 cars that have not had trouble or been involved in an incident tonight. And we look, they're now actually Blaney somehow with all the damage in the car closed in 1/10 on the leaders that lap. Not sure how in the world he managed to do that. But either way, I believe these are the only 2 drivers that have had no issues so far here tonight, which I can't say at a Daytona road course it's something I expected to see, Jay.
Certainly an interesting start to the season. It's the Daytona Clash after all. This race doesn't matter. There's no points involved. Just go out and try and win it. And I wouldn't say that's what we've seen with the wreck so far. That certainly wasn't a race-winning wreck, but that was certainly an incident that caused a whole lot of calamity and a whole lot of issues and a whole lot of baffling stuff here in this race.
And now for a few moments here, we're going to go quickly into the AMP segment here at the Daytona Busch Clash. We're going to ride along with the 17 of Chris Buescher here as he tries to run down the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. Martin Truex Jr. working up through the gears now as we are through the AMP segment. Back with you guys. A gap between Martin Truex Jr. and second place of Chris Buescher, less than half a second, but it seems like Truex now in a comfortable spot above that 17 car, but is now nearly 20 seconds between Truex and third place of Ryan Blaney. So of course, without a caution, we saw a caution at the beginning of this race on a single car incident with Joey Logano getting turned off the front bumper of Tyler Reddick. And then we saw about a 10-car pileup, which resulted in no caution at all. So very baffling all around. Now as Truex looks to run away here with now just 10 laps to go, coming to 9 laps to go. But Jay, Truex has run a tremendous race, started on pole, and just looks to, has kept the car clean the whole time. He's had a strong pit stop. So did the 17 of Buescher, but I definitely think the 19 is going to be able to pull it off here now as the 17 was 0.29 or 0.29 seconds behind now, actually just over half a second here, as it appears Truex definitely seems to be pulling away.
And what's surprising to me so far is I've been keeping an eye on Chase Elliott, and he still cannot make his way through the field. He's got probably the cleanest car, or one of the cleanest cars back there in that group at the moment, and he still is just not able to go anywhere. In fact, he might be losing a spot here to Tyler Reddick.
Under attack from the RCR driver in his second season of his Cup Series career. Elliott started second, had lap 1 contact with Cole Custer. He's now in that kind of unpreferred lane, and sure enough, he backs out of it under pressure there from Keselowski. So now the 9 car gives up 8th place to Tyler Reddick, and we actually look at the fastest laps of the race so far here at Daytona in the Busch Clash. So Martin Truex Jr. has run the fastest lap with a 148.223, over 110 faster than the 17 of Chris Buescher, then the 48 of Alex Bowman, actually, with the third fastest lap. We've also seen the troubles that Alex Bowman has dealt with tonight, so of course no opportunity whatsoever for that Hendrick driver. But there you see the overall top 10 now is up in front here. We've got a whole just cluster of cars, including the 43, the 10 of Almirola, the 24, actually 3 wide, the 24 gets turned in oval turns 1, and the 9, the 8, the 2, they get through it, but the 24 of William Byron goes around. We saw no caution for a 10-car pileup. We saw a caution for a 1-car incident, and now we're going to see if the caution is out here on the track, and yes, the caution is out here in Daytona. Jay, is that a surprise or what?
I don't understand NASCAR's decision making tonight. This is interesting. We had the collision with Logano and Reddick bring out a caution. We've had now the 24 car basically to be the only person to spin. That brings out a caution. But half the field wrecks on the front straightaway, and there's no caution. I'm not sure what's up with NASCAR's decision making tonight, but this certainly makes this race a whole lot more interesting with only 7 laps to go.
So we're coming through here into the oval portion of the track, and we caught up right with this when it happened live. The 24, it was a 3-wide moment there, and the 18, I think the 24 maybe came up a little bit there, and he just kind of got hooked, and around he went, but we'll get a view here from the 18's roof camera to get a better idea of what just happened.
It looks like to me the 10 may have came down to the 18, which of course forced the 18 to go down onto the 24. We'll get to see right here. And that effect does happen. The 10 turns up to the 18, and the 18 gets squeezed, and the 18 just makes contact with the 24, which in turn turns the 24 into the outside wall in the 10 car, and the caution gets brought out.
Overall, just a chaotic race here so far, Jay. Now as up front still, of course, Martin Truex Jr., Chris Buescher, the only cars right now even caught up to the pace car now, as I would not expect anybody to come to the pit lane here, would you?
Nobody up towards the front, but the 24 certainly will come to pit lane. Maybe the 10 and maybe the 18, just as far as the cars involved in that incident. But no, I don't expect anyone to come down to pit road unless these teams feel like tires are that big of an issue.
The 10 is a lap down after that incident. The 22 car of Logano, we saw him on the pit lane for multiple laps. He is 3 laps down, and we have some pit stops going on here. Martin Truex Jr. coming into the pit lane, handing the lead to the 17 of Buescher. We have multiple cars coming in. This, I don't know if I saw coming, Jay.
I didn't see this coming at all. We have Martin Truex coming in, Alex Bowman, who of course is a couple laps down, but we have Chris Buescher, Ryan Blaney, and Keselowski staying out and assuming that they're the top 3 now.
Yes, the 12.
So this is just, I don't know what Truex was thinking there. He is now completely handed this race over, and he's going to be in so much traffic. I don't think he's going to have a chance to get to Buescher.
And there you see, all
'Cause it looks
the
like
cars he
Kurt
has to
Busch might have
pass.
just ran
Yeah,
into
it does
Logano
appear
there.
he just potentially ran into the back. But Truex coming out of the pit lane now. The 48 following through, doesn't matter for the 48, but the 18 as well. But Truex is going to have to work his way through the 1 car, the 22, the 47, the 3, the 23 of Ty Dillon, the 10 of Almirola, the 2 of Keselowski, and the 12 of Ryan Blaney, just to get to the back of the 17 of Chris Buescher now. And it's a very baffling call there. Truex came in 1 lap after the 17. So very confusing call from the 19 team there, Jay. And I really don't think, with the pace we've seen, the 17's been closely matched to the 17. I don't think there's a single chance that Martin Truex Jr. works his way through the field here and gets a chance to win this thing. And here we go, the pace car is off.
Looks like Keselowski's going to pit road.
Yes, it appears so now, as we are going to be back underway. So Keselowski gives up a position now as we are underway, and immediately you see back here, this could get interesting now. The 22 up the inside of the 10, Almirola with a very slow start. You see Martin Truex Jr. is the one you really want to keep your eye on here as we go down into turn 1. Surprisingly, it looks like we're going to keep it relatively clean here. Truex, he nearly hits the wall there, but he's going to be okay now, as we know he, out of these cars right here, has the freshest tires. So is he going to be able to get on the attack? I really don't think it's going to happen at this point. He's going to be needing to gain multiple positions here per lap now, as he doesn't even seem to be close enough to the 1 right now to make something happen. But overall, a relatively clean start in the back here. We got William Byron trying to make up some time after that incident that he just had involving Kyle Busch, Eric Almirola in the 10 and whatnot now. But overall, a clean restart, and we can confirm, obviously, there was no double file restart. It sort of appears at road courses, Jay. I guess they don't do the double file, which is a bit surprising. Honestly, kind of a bit disappointing. We were hoping for maybe a little bit more chaos there, as we usually can rely on the 22 of Joey Logano to do that. But he appears to be getting a run on the back of the 47 there as we come through out of Oval 2 now, as that is not for position. Steno's trying to hold on to a top 5, but a bunch of issues for Logano now in this race now, as they nearly make contact, I think, as they go into the bus stop now, as the 47 is trying to fight back with the 22 through the grass. Goes Logano as he defends there, but up ahead it is the 12 of Ryan Blaney in second, trying to chase the 17, but clearly, Jay, we can see that he has absolutely nothing for him.
Chris Buescher is going to absolutely run away with this race, with the damaged car of the 12 behind him and an even more damaged car of the 23 behind him. And as it looks like we have some pit stops here, actually. I believe
the 17!
Chris Buescher just went to pit road.
Chris Buescher, Ryan Blaney, multiple other drivers just pitted, and now the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. has retaken the lead in Daytona. And I was going to mention, we saw the 1 car of Kurt Busch actually missed the final chicane, and that allowed Truex to get through, it appeared. So now all of a sudden Kurt's in second, and the 19 is back in the lead now. So I have no idea what in the world is going on there. So I guess now it's the 19.
I believe we have seen everything possible in this race. I don't know what in the world. We were thinking the 19 team threw it away, but apparently they knew they needed to pit again, and the 17 somehow did not know that. 17, 12, and all those other guys did not know that they needed to pit. So I'm not sure what I just watched here.
So
I mean, at this point, nothing can surprise me or baffle me more after this race. This had everything.
We're just waiting for the tornado to come through at this point. We've seen everything. We thought Martin Truex Jr.'s team was just a terrible pit call. We thought it was from them, and now all of a sudden it appears to be the absolute genius pit call now, as they are out front, running behind Joey Logano. I don't think Martin Truex Jr. is going to try and pressure the 22 too much, but the 1 car of Kurt Busch is, I think, the only one out of that group that did not pit right there. But actually, we do got Kyle Busch as well as Chase Elliott back here. And then further back there, you see Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick and whatnot, Matt DiBenedetto. William Byron still just kind of suffering through. But here in the back, Chris Buescher just pitted from the lead. And now he's trying to defend over the 2 car of Brad Keselowski. Seems to have the speed to hold him off just fine there now. As you check out the rest of the order, not a whole lot going on. There's a 48 of Alex Bowman running all by himself at this point now, 3 laps down still. The 4 car of Kevin Harvick, we should mention, has retired from the race now. As you see the 22 and the 19 actually side by side. And if I was Martin Truex Jr., I would not be doing that, because look, Jay, that just opened the door for Kurt Busch to potentially have a chance to steal a win here tonight.
I have no idea what Truex was thinking trying to make that pass right there. We've seen all night long, and I'm sure he knows that trying to go to the outside of someone there in those first couple of turns, you have no grip, you can't control the car, and he almost lost first place because of it. He's able to regain that gap again, which obviously is showing the pace that he has. But if he's going to get around Logano, he's going to have to find a better way to do it, because doing it on the outside of the first couple of turns there is not going to work.
And honestly, I think the safe option for him at this point, I think the 22 has enough pace in the car. If Martin just rides behind him, the one car is not even going to be able to get there. So I personally wouldn't even bother making a move there. As you can see already, it was just over a second when that lap got underway now, as they have just about 3.5 laps to go here in the Busch Clash, which I think has probably been one of the craziest Busch Clashes in recent memories here in the NASCAR Cup Series. As you see Truex just trying to manage that gap now over the one car of Kurt Busch. But you know what? It was definitely up in question. Would the road course race here at Daytona really be able to top what we see at the Daytona Oval for the Busch Clash? But Jay, so far I think tonight has proven that the Daytona road course is just as much capable as producing an insane race just like the Oval.
Certainly a chaotic race, certainly a whole bunch of drama, and a whole bunch of just wildness. I don't think anybody saw this coming. Different strategies, different pit calls, obviously the calls for cautions and the no calls for cautions, and it's the pace that we've seen from Truex and Chris Buescher over the entire field. This race has had almost everything that a race fan would want and wish for.
And there you saw Kyle Busch coming into the pit lane right there, so giving up his spot now is the 17. Not really what I expected to see, actually, under pressure from the 2 of Brad Keselowski. Truex is opening up the gap even more, but now they battle into turns 1 here. Now, as you see, Keselowski is going to have to try and make that outside work, and it has not worked for anybody tonight. Now, as the 18 Kyle Busch is going to come out just in front of them, and sure enough, doesn't work there for the 2 of Brad Keselowski, as Kyle Busch has come out of the pit lane. Now, as you see the rest of the field now, as the 10 of Eric Almirola finds himself actually back in the pit lane once again. He's had a terrible night, ignited the huge incident with his teammate of Kevin Harvick. There's you see Alex Bowman just hanging on to the end, but Martin Truex Jr. actually has gotten past the lapped car of Joey Logano. So as we approach just 2 laps to go here in the Busch Clash, Truex now just trying to cruise on home, as Logano's just kind of in between him and the 1, but clearly Kurt Busch doesn't have the pace to run down the 19. As Chase Elliott, Jay, to our surprise, what a up and down race it's been for him with the first lap contact after qualifying second. He fell down to about 9th place was the lowest we saw him get, and here he is coming to the final 2 laps. He's moved himself up here into P3.
Well, everybody gave Alan Gustafson crap for the Coke 600 last season, and I think this season Gustafson proved already.
Martin Truex Jr. back in the pit lane along with the 9 car of Chase Elliott, the 41 of Custer, coming in as well, and all of a sudden, Kurt Busch.
The plot thickens.
And the real question is the way things have gone so far. Will the 1 car come to the end of this race without pitting? And interestingly enough, we've seen everybody pit here within the last 5 laps after that restart, but the 1 car has not pitted at all. So this is the second pit stop here recently for Martin Truex Jr., who's just coming out of the pit lane now. But once again, Jay, a completely unexpected factor coming in here, as I just, at this point, I don't know what to think of things.
If I had no idea what was going on 5 laps ago, I certainly have no idea what's going on now. I don't know what I'm watching. All I know is that it's interesting, it's baffling, it's confusing, and all of a sudden we have Kurt Busch as the leader of this race.
And I mean, if Kurt can just get around here, another half a track, he's going to take the white flag. But the way things have gone here in tonight's Busch Clash, the question is he going to get around without making a pit stop? We don't know what in the world is about to happen here. But, I mean, Kurt has no pressure whatsoever. It appears Eric Jones is now in the 2nd position, by the way. De Benedetto into P3. Truex down in 4th. You see back here, Chris Buescher all of a sudden up in the mix now, but it is Kurt Busch who is trying to come through to the white flag. But the question is he going to make it to the white flag?
Is he going to pit at the white flag?
And we're about to find out as he goes into the final chicane here. It looks all right, and he is staying out.
Not pitting.
Kurt Busch staying out takes the white flag here in the Busch Clash in what has been just a tremendous race here now. As you see the 21 of Benedetto going down into the final chicane. Behind us, Truex, the 9. Then you got the watch out here potentially for a potential move actually from the 17 of Chris Buescher, who's going to lunge up the left-hand side. Nothing matters at this point. The white flag is out. Nearly some contact. I thought they were about to crash there, but they're going to be side by side, and they keep it going here in Daytona. But, I mean, Jay, overall, what a race it has been. And now Kurt Busch just needs to make it another about 3/4 of a lap here, and he will win the 2021 Clash.
I don't know. I have no words. I have no words for what we just witnessed. Kurt Busch now suddenly in the lead by about 10 seconds, and then 17 seconds back to Matt DiBenedetto. What in the world just happened with strategy?
Massive confusion.
This race was insanity.
Rounding out the top 5 right now is the 9 of Chase Elliott. Kurt Busch out of oval 2. Just chilling behind Joey Logano. That's all he really needs to do now as behind. Not a whole lot going on. We'll check in on this fight right here, though, in a few moments as Kurt Busch comes through the bus stop for the final time here in what has been a very long race here in the Daytona road course for the Busch Clash as we go down into oval 3 and 4 for the final time. Kurt Busch picked up 1 win last season in 2020, closing in for sure on the end of his career, and for the first time that a NASCAR Cup Series Clash has been run at the Daytona road course, it appears it's going to be Kurt Busch who is going to come through to pick up the victory here as he comes through out of the chicane, does not come into the pit lane, and Kurt Busch, after a tremendous change of events throughout the night, wins the 2021 Busch Clash. Second place is going to go to the number 43 of Eric Jones. Matt DiBenedetto trying to hang on there for P3. Truex P4 after throwing away everything, and now it's 18. The 2 Buescher clearly has fallen off here now, as this is really the last battle we got going on here. Now as the 2 looks to make a move, nothing quite enough there for the 18 of Kyle Busch, as everybody coming to the line here to finish off the race. Now as the 17, the 19, we saw them both throw away potential victories. Now as the 41 barely gets to 12, here comes across the line Denny Hamlin just outside of the top 10, and the rest of the field starts to come through. Austin Dillon, Stenhouse, then you got the 24 of William Byron. What a rough night it was for him overall. The 48 of Alex Bowman, and we still got the 10 of Eric Almirola running down the back straightaway, and even the 22 of Joey Logano. But there is your winner of Kurt Busch. And Jay, at the start of the night, even with 5 laps to go in this race, if you would have told me Kurt Busch was going to win, I would not have believed you.
I wouldn't have believed you either. If you had told me 10 laps into this race, if you had told me that anyone other than 19 or the 17 would have won this race, I would have said, yeah, that the only way that would have happened is if they both wrecked. And neither one of them wrecked, and somehow we have the 19 in 4th and the 17 in 8th, with them both making pit stops in the last few laps. Truex making 2 pit stops in the last few laps. I have no idea what we just witnessed, but it was certainly entertaining.
Absolutely, and it makes you wonder maybe with Truex, maybe they thought they had a loose wheel or something. Of course, we don't have access to what's going on, but that's definitely a possibility, because it made no sense to make 2 pit stops in such a short period of time there. And I mean, just threw away the win. I mean, he held on to a top 5, which is still impressive enough. But just what a wild race with Kurt Busch coming out on top here in the Busch Clash. Now, as we're going to check out your finishing order here on the screen. So to round out the top 10, we got Kurt Busch, Eric Jones, Matt DiBenedetto rounding out the top 3. I mean, a great day for DiBenedetto. He was involved in that first 10-car pileup. I mean, just about everybody was. Half the field, pretty much. But Truex there in the 4th position. Then Chase Elliott there in P5. Kyle Busch 6th. Keselowski 7th. Buescher 8th, Custer 9th, Blaney rounds out the top 10, and then we got Denny Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, Austin Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., William Byron, all finished on the lead lap, and then we had Joey Logano 2 laps down, Alex Bowman 3 laps down, Eric Almirola 4 laps down, and then Kevin Harvick was our only DNF here in Daytona. And if you guys enjoyed what you saw here today on the channel with this NR2003 broadcast that we will be doing every week, this week specifically 3 different times, following along with Speed Weeks for the Clash today, then the duels just a few more days away, and of course the Daytona 500 on the weekend. We'll be likely putting the Daytona 500 out the day before the 500. So like I said, if you guys enjoyed what you saw, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. Myself and Jay, brand new to this. You might see some other guest commentators throughout the season, like our Nitro teammate or friend of Eddie Shearer. But yeah, overall, a wild race to say the least, and we would just like to say thank you from myself and Jay for coming out to watch. Jay, would you like to say anything to the viewers before we go?
I do want to say thanks for watching, guys. It was fun. This was certainly different. Obviously, I need to work on my commentating skills a little bit, but this race was crazy. I don't think every race is going to be like this, but it was fun, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
Overall, a fun time. A lot of editing going to be involved. You know, didn't go smoothly. We're going to make it look as polished as we can in the video, but I can tell you guys behind the scenes, this did not go smoothly whatsoever. I mean, being brand new to this, we were definitely a little rough with the commentary and with just the whole race in general. But like I said, we're brand new to this. We're going to improve as the season goes on. So yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody who took the time out of their day to watch this brand new series come to life here on the channel, starting off at Daytona with the 2021 Busch Clash. So that will do it for myself and Jay here in the booth tonight, and we will see you guys in reality just a few days away at the Daytona duels at the Daytona Oval, which, I mean, could be even crazier, could be a lot less crazier. We'll see what it's going to be in just a few days. So thank you all for watching, and have yourselves a great day.